Learn how to create and execute a fundamental HTTP post request using XML request to submit or request data from a server-side file. In this lesson, we want to look at the Ajax post method. While a GET request is like asking or requesting for a piece of information without any modification to it, a post request, on the other hand, is like submitting a form to, a server or something. So the post method is designed to send data to a server, often to resulting in a change on that server, such as maybe you want to do things like create a new user account, saving a particular post, or processing a payment. So because the data travels securely hidden inside the body of the request instead of being exposed in the website address bar, it is the standard choice for handling sensitive inputs in web development. So let's come into our script section and make a function, and let's call it the post Ajax method. So inside this function, let's call our http variable and assign it our new XML request object. So now that we have this, now let's call our variable with unload property and pass the functions to it. And inside this function, let's add another method that is going to be responsible for displaying our result in our HTML equals to this dot response. So here I can just come down and call on the open method and pass in the HTTP verb. So this time it is going to be post, and where do I want to post to? So let's say maybe a demo post.txt. Let's assume that this file exists, and then I can call on the send method, which is going to be responsible for making a send request to our server. So now that we have this, so let's add a button, and let's give it a name, request data. Add an ID to this button, an ID of BTN, as well as an on-click property. On-click property, which is now going to be the name of our function. So if I click on request data, then nothing is going to happen. Number one is because we don't have this file, so this file does not exist. So let me, add it at the root folder, demo post.txt. So I just do that, and inside this file I didn't have anything actually. So even if I try to click this, well, nothing is going to happen because I'm making a post request. So this should be like maybe if I have a file or whatever. If you try to inspect this code now, click on request data, you can see 405, the method is not allowed. So just let's say I have maybe a form on my index file which I want to be processed inside this place, so I can make that a request to send data alongside my request from the index file, and it will go inside that new file. So when you click this button here that we have, you see JavaScript will initiate a background connection to the server file name, which is what we have here, our demo post.txt, for example. But in real world application, it's not going to be a txt, so it's going to be something like maybe an ASP file, or it could be maybe a PHP file or whatever. So I'm just using this for a demonstration example. So since I'm not actually working with a real life data, So when it send a background connection to this file using the post request, which is what we have here as our HTTP verb. So the server will receive the request, process it, and send back a response, which JavaScript then will display inside our empty paragraph here on the screen. So this is what this file is just actually responsible for. What we have here is a way to configure our network request. The first argument specifies the HTTP verb, which is the post method, and its purpose is to tell the browser that we are sending data down to the server. So the second argument targets our file, which is the server side, that is server side file that is responsible for handling our submission. So here the HTTP send here is what fires the post request out to the server. So in a simple setup like we have here, without form input, like what we like, without any form input like we have in this example. So it's called empty, an empty, it's send an empty request. And because we don't have anything inside that file that we have on the server side, so it doesn't return anything. And that is the reason why you are seeing that even while this request data button is being clicked, you are seeing 404 not found, and then 405 method not allowed. And that is because we are not actually doing anything. But to prove that this is making a request, look at this XHR. You can see the method. So this is a post method, and this is our file name that is on the server. And you can see the status, you can see the version, and you can see a whole lot of other information that is being returned back from this particular request to the server. And then we have our unload text http.unload, which carries this function. And this is an event handler that waits for the server to finish processing the post submission and reply. So once the information is now ready, the document.get element by ID is responsible for displaying the response on the screen. Yeah, few key takeaways from this lesson. Number one, the XHTTP post method should always be used when you want to send data to a server to either create, update, or change information in a database. Number two, unlike GET request, which display data parameter publicly inside the URL, post request package data securely inside the underlying request body. And lastly, browsers do not catch post requests. Every time a post request runs, it forces a fresh connection to the server, ensuring that the form submission don't accidentally repeat from local memory.